Was taken from the archives of The Seeing Eye. We begin by seeing Morris Frank getting out of a car and going into Dorothy Harris and Eustace's house, Fortunate Fields in Vevey, Switzerland. Then we see Morris in a dark suit, petting and scratching Buddy with great affection before they return to the United States.
As I put my hand down on Buddy, I knew that she was going to be my Declaration of Independence and give me back the freedom that I so long desired to go and come as I pleased, and that she also would be the pioneer of the guide dog movement in the United States for the blind men and women who neither wanted charity nor pity, but wanted to live a normal life with normal people. And as they showed me how to put the harness on the dog, and we started down the road, as my legs stretched out, my shoulders went back, and my head went up, and the wind blew in my face, I knew I had my independence, and I knew the movement had to be a success in this country as it had been in Europe.
Here we see Morris Frank working with Buddy in training in Vevey, being led around a garbage can out in front of a house, crossing a street where Buddy slows and stops for an up curb, which Morris detects with a cane, and then steps up. We see him saying goodbye at Fortunate Fields and getting into a car on his way back to the United States, where the work of Morris Frank and Buddy truly began. Morris opened doors for blind people all across the United States with Buddy One. Restaurants, trains, and here even a United Airlines plane on Buddy's last trip. The work continued with Buddy Two. We see Morris Frank walking on the streets of New York City and getting into a train to the 1939 World's Fair. He gets off the Long Island Railroad at the stop by what's now Shea Stadium and goes onto the World's Fair grounds. The World's Fair symbol was the Trilon and the Perisphere. And we see him walking away from the Perisphere, coming towards us. The theme of the World's Fair was Dawn of a New Day. It certainly was.
And as they showed me how to put the harness on the dog, and we started down the road, as my legs stretched out, my shoulders went back, and my head went up, and the wind blew in my face, I knew I had my independence, and I knew the movement had to be a success in this country as it had been in Europe.
All right, everybody. Now, I wanted to show you that video for a purpose and a reason. And that is, well, first of all, that video focused on the first seen eye dog. The first seen eye dog ever, okay? And I wanted to show a point of when we really want to focus on something that's important, something that has substance, something that has monumental meaning, that when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, we can do something out of the ordinary. And when it comes to having faith in something, and when we get pushed to a certain point, we'll delve right into that faith. Now, this man, being blind, he delved into that faith of him following that dog and others afterwards. He had to have faith to be led by a dog because he had no use of his sight. His sight was gone. So he trusted in that dog. He trusted in that dog. And you think about that. Think about it. If you were to close your eyes, okay, now those of us, because, you know, the majority of us living are not blind. So close your eyes. And then imagine right now if you're being led around by a dog, and think about not having fear of you walking into something, or the dog walks you off of a cliff or whatever. Okay? You think about that. You think about the significance of that. Your trust, your faith is totally 100. Totally 100. Now, the video spoke about freedom. The man said he had newfound freedom. He had the freedom to go about like he used to before. You correlate that into the freedom God gives us. Now, see, people take it the wrong way where they think that God limits our freedom. No, God expands our freedom. God implores our freedom. He gives us more freedom because when we are being led by Him, when we are being guided by Him, we have the freedom of unlimited potential. See, it's the other way around. When you are joined up with the devil, that's a lie in thinking that you have freedom. You don't. You're limited. It's fake. It's phony. He is the architect of lies. But the man spoke about freedom, being with that dog, being connected. He also spoke about being independent. God gives us an independence. Now, when He gives us an independence of sin, we are independent of sin when we are joined up with Him. That man had an independence of being able to go to certain places, have meetings, do this, do that. Because being blind, you become limited. God gives us that independence also in Him. When we are joined up with Him, then the independence becomes proper. The independence becomes right. The independence becomes justified. And also the video talked about using a harness. In other words, the man had to hook up to the dog in order to be led around, in order to function as normal as he could before he became blind. Well, with us and God, we hook up with Him also. We hook up with Him via faith. We hook up with Him as a born-again Christian. That's how we hook up and harness to God. But why is it so hard for us to do that? Why is it that we have to get backed into a corner when we think all else fails? Now we have to come to God. When God is telling us all the time, come to me now. Come to me now when things are not hard for you. Come to me now when I can make things much easier for you. And yes, you're still going to go through your ups and downs, but I can make the way smoother for you. I can make the transition better for you. Why wait to the last minute? Why wait till all is almost lost? Why wait? A blind man showed faith in a seeing eye dog to navigate through this world. And just like people of whom most of us are not blind, but we're blind when it comes to the spiritual. We're blind when it comes to the things of God. And all he wants to do is help us along. All he wants to do is cut a path through this violent, sinful, vindictive world. He wants to be our eyes, but we're reluctant to let him. He wants to be our guide. He wants to be everything for us. And I'm talking to those who can physically see, but are spiritually blind. Open your hearts to him. Use the harness of faith. Use the harness of faith and hook up to God. And let him be your guide. Let him be your seeing eyes. See, we need God to see before us and to navigate through this life. And just like that man in the video, we can have a new confidence, an independence, a new life, a refreshness like we never had before. Enough said.
Thank you for watching, and let Jesus be your guide for a great day. And be sure to subscribe and also hit the notification bell. And from Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Enough said.